Whenever I get to a low point where I think, why do I even bother? I just remind myself, this is where most people stop, and this is why they don't win. And this relates to another one, which is a reminder for the gladiators in the arena who feel beat up and scarred with no hope in sight. Building a business is hard. Hard feels shitty. This is what hard feels like. And this is why most people can't do it, but you can.
Your grasp should always be just outside your reach. What's the point in having ambitions if they aren't seemingly unattainable? Adam wants to know, tell me how to succeed as in motivation. I can't tell you that. You have to find your own motivation, can't rely on other people.
Trying hard is something in your mind just doesn't stop. That's why people gotta understand what is in us. We have no idea until we start trying hard. And I mean really trying hard, where you're obsessed with, hey, this is my new norm. My new norm is that, wow, this isn't always fun. It's not always meant to be fun. And that's when you know you're trying hard.
If you and I want an extraordinary life, we gotta turn fear into power. We gotta break through our fear and take action even if we're scared. Once you become aware of a pattern and think it's you, it's not that difficult to change. In fact, change can be enjoyable, not painful, as you'll learn. What causes you to be able to do that? Faith, the ability to have a sense of certainty that somehow you're going to get through this and get to a better place, is something that's in every one of us, but it needs to be cultivated. Courage means you're scared, but you do it anyway. Most of the limits you have on yourself, they're not real.
If every decision and choice you make is just about you, at a certain point you're going to hit something that's a lot tougher than you, that's going to make you quit because you don't have a driving force for why you do what you do. One of the greatest pieces of advice that my mother gave me was this: son, whenever you start, you make sure you finish. And the problem with the world today, people get involved with things, and if they don't like a certain person, if they don't like the process, if it's not what they thought it was, they quit. And what they don't understand about quitting becomes a habit that doesn't just affect you. Later on in life, when you get a wife and you get some kids or you get a family, it's gonna come back to hunt you, and it will one day affect them. That is why I tell you the process is more important than the product. It's not even about the outcome for me. It's about, can you take pride in what you do as an individual, and every night when you look in the mirror, knowing that you gave everything you had to it.
The Mamba mentality simply means trying to be the best version of yourself. It means every day you're trying to become better. I mean, the passion came from the love for the game. I loved everything about it. And so the passion comes from that, because once you have that love, you just want to be a part of this thing all the time. If your job is to try to be the best basketball player you can be, right? To do that, you have to practice, you have to train, right? You want to train as much as you can, as often as you can. So if you get up at 10 in the morning, train at 11, right? 12, say 12, train at 12, train for 2 hours, 12 to 2. You have to let your body recover. So you eat, recover, whatever. You get back out, you train, start training again at 6. Train from 6 to 8. Right? And now you go home, you shower, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, you do it again, right? Those are 2 sessions. Right? Now imagine you wake up at 3, you train at 4, you go 4 to 6, come home, breakfast, relax, blah, blah, blah. Now you're back at it again, 9 to 11, right? Relax, and now all of a sudden you're back at it again, 2 to 4, and now you're back at it again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4, right? And so now you do that, and as the years go on, the separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger and larger and larger and larger and larger. And by year 5 or 6, it doesn't matter what kind of work they do in the summer, they're never going to catch up.
When you make mistakes, they add up. They add up. One mistake compounds and leads to another, which leads to another, and they can lead you to a downward spiral of destruction. Here's the thing. You know what else adds up? The positive things, the good moves, the small sacrifices that you make to do things right, the adjustments needed to correct problems, the daily discipline required to get you where you want to get to. Those little positive things add up too. And it's obvious, and we know it, but here's the question: why don't we do them? Why don't we do them? Well, it's because, in most cases, it's because they add up slowly. They add up so slowly that you don't really notice the results, right? 1 day in the gym is basically imperceivable. 2 days in the gym, you don't recognize any change whatsoever. 100 days in the gym, and you're almost a new person. So we let these things slip. Because it takes so long to see the progress, we let them slip. And when we don't do them, it becomes 0 times 100 or 0 times 1,000. And that nets out to a 0. When you do anything, it adds up. When you do nothing, it amounts to 0. So take the small steps every day. Do what you're supposed to do, and don't expect some incredible results in 1 day or 2 days or 10 days. Worthwhile things take 100 days. They take 500 days. Maybe they take 5,000 days. They take time, but it's little steps that add up. So put in the daily effort. Let that be your reward. Reward yourself. Feel gratification from knowing that you moved the needle even just a little bit. Rome wasn't built in a day. The Grand Canyon took millions of years to form. And whatever it is you want to do isn't going to happen in 1 day. You have work to do. And I know it's just a little bit. I know it's just a little tiny movement forward, but that work is what it takes. So go do it.
Here's the deal. Maybe this isn't true, but maybe it is. You can have what you want in 5 years, but there's 2 conditions. You have to know what it is, and you have to aim at it. So if you have a goal and you see that you've done something that moves you towards it, your brain produces a dopamine hit, and that makes you feel good, and it strengthens the neural circuits that moved you forward. It does both of those. That's reward and reinforcement. And what that means is, if you don't have a goal, you have no positive emotion. And when people say, they're aimless, they're partly telling you that they're anxious, but they're also telling you that they have no positive emotion. Then every time you move even a tiny bit towards that, you're going to think, good work, man, good work. You get a little kick from that. You get a little stronger from that.
I never look back and say, I wish I'd done things differently. Forget about the years past and just focus on the future. I am always looking forward to starting anew. I'm much more about looking forward and thinking, what can I do now to affect my future, than I am looking at my past saying, I wish I'd done this.
So you want to be normal. So you just want to be like everybody else that roams the world, not knowing the power that's in them. Being fine with being mediocre. You have to go dark. What I mean by that is you have to be quiet in your mind. Get away from people. We love being around people. We love talking. It's okay to be alone. It's also okay to be unhappy. It's okay to say, you know what, man, I'm fucked up. Get to that dark place in your mind. Figure out. It may take months. It may take years. Figure out your purpose. Figure out what you want to be in life. And then from there, it's overcoming yourself at all costs, whatever that takes. To be at the point of your life where you don't care about being judged. You can be in a room of 1 million people and they all hate you. And you walk in and you go like this. Not because you're angry at them, because you know yourself, inside and out, and you know that you've put yourself through hell to be where you're at today.
Life for the average man is going to get harder and harder. It's becoming more and more competitive. You need to find more and more ways to stand out and be unique. And the only way to really do those things, unfortunately, as a man, is to suffer. It's usually the things that made you the best version of you are usually the worst things that happen to you. Even in superhero movies, they make it very clear. Batman's parents died. That's why he's Batman. All the bad things have to happen. There's no way to get there without the bad things.
He is supposed to do regardless of how he feels. You must train when you don't feel like training. You must protect when you don't feel like protecting.
What everybody wants is an extraordinary life. The extraordinary life is extraordinary emotions, a beautiful state. And you can have that because you can change your state how fast? If you change your body, you will change your emotion. Motion creates emotion, and emotion determines our actions. When you use more motion, you experience more of the gifts that are inside you. The secret to an extraordinary life is to raise your standard.
Because all these things that we're afraid of, they're doors that can possibly lead you to a whole other world. But we keep them shut for fear, for insecurity. And that's the thing about tripling down on your weaknesses, so then those weaknesses end up becoming your strengths.
The only thing in life that stands between you and everything you've ever wanted to do is doing it.